everybody, and welcome back to the Ball Player's Guide, your guide to everything Marlins. Because today, in our 30 for 30, we are talking about the Miami Marlins, a team that everyone knows their lineup top to bottom, and there's definitely not any names that nobody's ever heard of before. Last year, Marlins kind of snuck up on shocks and people. They finished 79 and 83. They almost snuck into the wild card spot. However, Fangraphs had them middle of the road in like every single category. Hitting was in the teens. I mean, they didn't hit home runs at all. Pitching, they struggled in some spots. Actually, like ERA was pretty bad, which is kind of surprising when you think of the Marlins. That's like the one thing they have going for them. They didn't have a good bullpen. They fielded all right, but I mean, I don't know what to make of the Marlins last year, and I don't know what to make of the Marlins this year. They added some good young talent in Owen Casey. They signed a good free agent in Pete Fairbanks and Chris Paddock, our GOAT. They also took a flyer on Estuary Ruiz. They brought back Christopher Morel, or not brought back, brought him in from the Rays. And they really only lost Ryan Weathers and Edward Cabrera, which for a team that's kind of like in the middle of nowhere, like they're kind of rebuilding, but also trying to
Mhm.
compete a little bit. Like I feel like those aren't bad moves if you're the Marlins. But their lineup, their whole roster is it's just weird to me because you look at their on Fangraphs, their projected lineup, not a single player in their starting lineup has more than 2 years of service time. And the only person on their like hitting side of their roster with more than three is Christopher Morel, and he has three. Like they're super young, they're very inexperienced. It's a weird combination of hitters. You have their pitching obviously is probably going to have to carry them, but I don't know. What do you guys make of the Marlins? Because I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah, it's a really young lineup, and I don't know. I'm surprised because Sandy wasn't that good last year, and they still won 79 games. So that's
Yeah.
something to look at for them. Like, will he return to form?
He was also coming off of an
Yeah,
injury.
and that's part of it too, because he
Yeah.
was coming off Tommy John. But like, will he become an ace again?
Yeah.
Will he, like, where is he going to land? And then I guess the other interesting thing for me is. And I just looked this up before we started. Like Augustine Ramirez was, I didn't realize he's a terrible catcher.
Horrible.
He
The
like
worst in the bigs.
legitimately
Yeah,
the worst. Like I was like negative 14 like defensive
Yeah.
run saved. I think I saw like it was bad.
It's really
And I
bad.
think apparently the Marlins still believe in him behind the plate, so I think they're gonna go with him right
They,
away.
they
But
shouldn't.
they have I think their third pros to their I think their third prospect in their org is a catcher, and I think. If Ramirez continues to struggle behind the dish, I'm sure you'll see what's his name, Joe Mack. So I think he's gonna have to show some defensive improvement, I would imagine, or else you're gonna see him. But
I'm just looking at his baseball savant page. First percentile in blocks above average and
oof,
negative 28. First in caught stealing above average, negative 10. He was middle of the road in framing, and he had 28th percentile in pop time. Bad. But he can hit.
yeah, I
21
mean,
bombs last year. I don't know. Joey, what do we do with the Marlins?
I'm kind of shocked. Oh, excuse me. Um, I'm kind of shocked that I don't know. It's kind of they should have pushed a few chips in here, but it's also at the point where will you be competitive? This division is crazy good. Um, but you were around 500 last year. Um, I think Sandy's going to bounce back. So this pitching staff is always pretty good.
Mhm.
Why not add like was Eugenio on the table for these guys? Add him at third base. Um, was bringing a guy like JT back on on the table and move Ramirez to first or DH, one of those two. Like they could have been a couple like B to C tier free agent moves away from competing for a wild card spot, I think. Um, just with their pitching, it's kind of like the Pirates. It's like they're just probably a few bats away from being a fringe wild card team, and they just didn't add anybody.
Yeah,
Um, so they're they have some. I really like Kyle Stowers. They have some really good young players. But I think adding someone like Eugenio or JT and kind of pushing those chips in just a little bit just to have that veteran guidance would have been huge for this team, I think.
and that makes a little sense. Like even somebody like Eugenio, like it's not a gamble if it's a one or
Yeah.
2 year deal just to give you a little bit of life. But yeah, I don't really know where they're at, but they'll be interesting to watch, I think.
Well, I was just looking at their payroll while you were saying all that, Joe. Like, why didn't they go now? Like, their only expiring contracts this year are Pete Fairbanks, who they just signed for 1 year, 13. Sandy has a club option for next year for 21 million, which I don't think the Marlins will take just because they're typically on the cheaper side. Maybe they try to sign him for a team friendly extension and maybe like restructure it a little bit, but probably depends on how good he is. And then Chris Paddock, who they signed for 1 for 4, and he's going to be their ace. So I couldn't even say that with a straight face. But then, like, the only contracts they have expiring next year are Sandy's if they pick up his option, Anthony Bender and John King, who are just kind of arms to throw out there, who are serviceable and fine, but they're they're kind of like set up for next year and the years after that with all their young guys that they brought up kind of at the same time. So I wouldn't be shocked if they kind of just see like what happens this year, roll the dice on some of these young kids, right? And then I don't know, yeah, maybe sneak into the wild card. If not, trade, see if you can get any value for Sandy, any value for Fairbanks and Paddock, and then just retool for next year and the year after.
I
And
would
like you,
say,
yeah,
oh, I was just going to say, I think if Sandy has a 4.3 ERA or lower, he will not be on this team in
yeah, I agree.
June or July. I think
Yeah,
that's probably the bar. Uh,
I
and I
agree.
don't know how much you get for him. It really depends on where his stats sit at the time
Yeah,
of whenever a trade goes through. But
And like
probably
you
gonna be
said,
a
Ryan, like
Dodger.
their starting lineup is like literally all young guys. So it's really just to kind of see what we got here. Like, you get an Owen Casey in the Cabrera trade.
Hmm.
Like, what do you like? We're gonna give you a bunch of at bats. Like, can you figure it out? Like, I think he could be a good major league player, but he
Yeah,
was
I
never
think so
gonna,
too.
and he was never gonna get that chance with the Cubs. But
No, the only option is if he sat like another year and then either took over for Hap or Seiya.
yeah,
But now, like he gets to play, he's probably going to play 130, 140 games this year if he's
yeah,
healthy. I mean, they have him platooning right now, but I mean, you got a young kid like Casey, like you want to run him out there, see what you got. A couple other names, just kind of like keep an eye out for Jacob Marcy, Xavier Edwards. You already talked about Kyle Stowers. I really like Kyle Stowers. I think he's going to be the centerpiece. Um, Otto Lopez, I think, is really fun. I don't know how much like pop he has. He had some last year, but just like what can he give you from your shortstop position? And it's not talked enough last year about how Otto Lopez and Xavier Edwards just like literally switched positions in the middle of the season and both got like immensely better
mhm.
defensively. That's crazy. More teams should do that. That's nuts. So like I like the names, I like the pieces that they have. Something about this team like really excites me. Seeing all these young guys that they've pieced together coming up at the right time. Yeah, it's just can they pitch? I think because I mean they're young. We don't know if they're going to hit like whatever. If they can pitch, they have a chance. I
yeah. And
don't know.
historically recently they have, but you trade away Cabrera and Weathers, So I don't know. I mean, I guess Weathers hasn't really been healthy for him anyways, but
Yuri Perez is only 22 years old. That's stupid. That's crazy. 23, I guess. He's almost 23. Max Meyer, I know they're high on. Same with Braxton Garrett. Some potential there. But I think their top prospect is a pitcher as well, this Thomas White kid. Yeah. He's probably going to be up at some point this year. They say 2027. I could see them calling him up now. But I don't know. I think the Marlins could be really fun. And that's all I got to say about that.
I think
You
if
guys,
they rebrand to the 2012 unis and
okay.
then have those sick Florida Marlins throwbacks that they're rocking this year, if they were to go back to those, because I hate their new rebrand that they did a few years ago. Like it's gross.
Yeah.
But those I just vividly remember those orange Miami unis, the alternates, and I loved those so much.
I love the teal. They need to go back to the teal permanently. It's so good. It's just amazing. They need to make that permanent.
the Marlins are so good. We're talking about their uniforms right now.
That's a
Their
good point.
their their uniforms are awesome. If they not the new ones, all
Yeah.
the old ones are so much better. But
Call us up. We got some ideas.
yeah,
Marlins. All right.
Derek Jeter hit us up. I don't think he's in charge
I don't
anymore.
think he's in
No,
charge. I don't
hasn't
think
been.
that went well.
No,
Uh,
really bad actually.
yeah. Typical Yankee
Just
messing things
traded
up.
everybody to the Yankees.
And put me in charge of the Dodgers. I got some ideas on what to do with their players.
Yeah, everybody's going to the Twins.
Well, you can't fit everybody, so some will have to go to the Cubs.
And no, no.
The over under at BetMGM last I checked was 72 and a half. That's tough because their division is, like we said, stacked. They got the Mets, Nationals, Phillies.
I keep saying this every time, but I'm going to take the over on this one, but I'm going to say it sits at 73. Like I
I think you've said that
I don't
literally every episode.
exactly. Like it's always I have it one game below or one game above. And I think that they're probably a 73-74 win team.
I'm going under because I think Sandy's gonna pitch well, and I think like somebody like Fairbanks they're gonna trade a couple of those because I don't think they're gonna be in contention at the deadline, and they don't really have much to trade away in their lineup because they're all young.
Yeah.
But you trade away like a Sandy or a Fairbanks or somebody like that, and maybe after the deadline you're a little bit worse. I'm gonna go under.
I just realized that I said Nationals instead of Braves when I was talking about the stacked NL East, and I'm going to stand by that. Um, yeah, I'm going to go under two for the same reasons. I think the lineup, I think there's just no veteran presence, so I think they're going to struggle. I think there's going to go through prolonged slumps of just like rolling these guys out there and just like, sorry, kid, you got to figure it out. And then, yeah, if Sandy has anything that's halfway decent of a year, he's gone. Same with Pete. Just try to get any return that they can possible from either of them. But
Their time is coming. I just
yeah,
don't think it's this year.
I agree. I'm right there with you. All right. Are you ready for Marlins trivia?
Yep.
I have two questions. They're very hard to find trivia for because they've only been around since like 98. That makes it really tough. Um,
Brandon Kinsler. Sorry.
yeah, okay.
Dang
Beat
it.
the saved against the Cubs twice, by the way, in the wild card series in 2020. Single-handedly beat the Cubs, by the way.
You want me to kick you from the Zoom call? Because I will.
We
It's
actually went
Brandon Kinsler. You
we
I'll
can
actually
do
went
it.
respect that.
we actually went over this already. Kind of.
Yeah, thanks for joining late, Joe. All right. Sorry, I have to feed my cats because my dog ate my cat's food. I have two questions today. First one: how many times have the Miami Marlins won the NL East? They've been a team since 1993. How many times have they won the NL East?
Well, between 2010 and this year, I believe it's zero.
Also, I'm looking at their page right now. Crazy 1993, they finished sixth out of seven. There were seven teams in the NL East before like realignment and all that, I'm sure. But that's just wild to see a seven there.
I'm gonna go two.
Yeah, I was gonna say two also, two or three.
Keep in mind, they've won two World Series.
Yeah.
They have won the NL East zero times.
Yeah.
Not a single time.
I figured
Oh,
maybe they did the World Series, yeah, World
Yeah.
Series years, but
second to five both years. Four, five times they've finished second. Everything else has been third, fourth, fifth, or sixth. And the second question: who is the winningest manager in Marlins history?
I know Jim Leland was there, but I don't think he was there for long.
2 years.
Ozzie Guillen famously got traded to the Marlins, and I know it's not him
is
because he
it
was only
is
there for a year.
how long was Mattingly there? He
Ooh,
wouldn't have
that's
been.
a he was there for a
He was
while.
there for a while.
Twins legend Mike Redmond is also on the table.
I'm going Mattingly because he was there for a while, even though they weren't great.
Final guess, Joey?
I'm guessing by you asking me that it might be right that it's Mike Redmond, but I don't think that's right.
It is not. He was only there for 2.5 seasons. It is Don Mattingly,
Okay.
who was there for one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 seasons, one of them being COVID. He has a 443 and 587 record, which is a 430 winning percentage. I'm just going to read you off the records of Don Mattingly as their manager.
I forgot Charity managed there for a year.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
79 and 82, 77 and 85, 63 and 98, 57 and 105, 31 and 29, COVID, 67 and 95, 69 and 93. He had one winning season there, COVID, where he was 31 and 29, and he is their all-time winningest manager and had one winning season.
And they
Marlins
went
are a weird franchise.
and they beat who in the playoffs that year?
All right, this has been the Marlins episode of the Ball Players Guide. We will see if Joey has speaking privileges for the next episode when we talk about the Arizona Diamondbacks. We'll see you guys there.